Hey guys, this is Yana coming to you from the Blue Mountains. So I just wanted to do a quick video. Hopefully it won't be too long. I just wanted to tell you about my book and also just to introduce myself, because I know I've had some subscriptions on my YouTube for the sound frequency therapy. So I hope that's all working really well for you guys. I hope it's helping you. I know I used it a lot for tonsillitis and for general healing when my body, when I had an injury or whatever it might be. So yeah, just put the headphones on whatever affected area it is, and it'll just promote healing and hopefully zap any viruses and so on. So yeah, so this is my book. So I've self-published. I didn't want to lose any control over it, so painstakingly I kind of researched, and I'm finally now all set up. So it's a 300-page book, and I also have it available as an ebook. So I'll have all the links in the comments, so you can just have a look at those, and by all means email or message me if there's anything you'd like to ask. So called Quantum Sleep. So as you can see, it's focusing on insomnia, anxiety, depression and suicide. So I guess I should say a little bit about myself. I am a past life hypnotist. So I do regression, not depression. I'm a past life hypnotist, and I don't do it full time. My full time job is actually a musician, so I'm a musician full time, and I do the regression part time. And I wrote the book just out of interest, and a lot of it was just kind of documenting stuff I knew, because I know that as we learn more, we tend to forget what we learned, and maybe we don't see it as significantly later on in life. So I kind of started just documenting it, and I thought it was going to be a really short sleep handbook, but it's ended up actually growing into a 300-page book, so it's kind of quite thick. So as a past life hypnotist, where it all started for me was pretty much right from the beginning after I finished my training. And I realised that I started having a lot of people coming to me with mental health issues, and I do like to call it emotional health rather than mental health. So I started having a lot of those clients coming, and they were getting really excellent results. Like, they were sort of getting exactly what they needed, and they had clarity, and they could see where it was stemming from, what they needed to do. And then I also realised I was having a lot of suicidal clients who were sometimes coming to me as a last resort, because obviously this is probably quite alternative to a lot of you. So yeah, I was kind of having people who had tried everything that were coming to me, and so far the people that I've been able to reconnect with are doing really well, and following their session they change their life around. So the reason I don't do this full time is because I only see a client once, and that's enough to kind of sort of push them in the right direction, and to give them knowledge of what they have to do and understanding. So it's so the technique I do is really fantastic for that side of things. It is actually a technique that also helps someone understand why a physical health issue has manifested. So kind of just kind of pinpointing what's happened to make something manifest in the body. So I kind of felt a need to write the book. I also where it started for me was that I noticed that a lot of the clients that were coming to me were also not sleeping, and so I just found that the lack of sleep kind of exacerbated the issue, and I kind of set on a quest to find help for people to sleep, because I believed, and I still do believe, that if you can get a good sleep, good solid sleep that is also peaceful, then you can see the other issues start to sort themselves out. So it started as a sleep help book, and it became so much more, and in the end it was just getting too long and it was taking me too long. So I ended up taking probably about 6 or 7 chapters out, which I'm saving for book 2, and I'm not sure where that one will go, but I do want to address children and babies, and a whole heap of other topics as well. So anyway, this is the book. So it's available from my Facebook link. I'll have all the links on the bottom. Just look for this symbol. That's on my Facebook page as well. So what I want to also talk about is some of the chapters that I have in here. So I talk about me a little bit. I introduce myself just so you know a bit of my background. I talk about the technique. Now I talk about sleep, how to get it, what happens during sleep, dreams, anxiety. Now I talk about anxiety and religion, which is something that may interest you, and that is actually a tough one, because I find that there are many friends that I have who are religious, but they also suffer some of the worst anxiety that I've seen, yet they won't come to me for a session if I offer, because they feel it doesn't align with their beliefs and their religious teachings, which I completely understand. However, it is an issue, and I do talk about it, so I've dedicated a whole chapter on it, just where that anxiety comes from, and if I've ever had someone that did come who was religious, they actually blocked the help and they didn't get what they need. They only got what they could deal with, like what was comfortable for them. So they didn't go to any past lives. They pretty much just see either childhood memories, and they kind of don't go beyond what their belief is, so they limit themselves, but in that way they protect themselves as well from something that they feel isn't right. So anyone that's sort of conflicted about past lives and their beliefs in religion would probably benefit from reading my book. So I hope that you are open to it, and you can start to kind of understand, I guess, where that's coming from, and have a broader understanding of life, I guess. So anyway, moving on, I talk about sleep, how to fall asleep, the brain. I also go into why meditation tracks don't work. So if you've tried meditation tracks for sleep, if you're not sleeping and you find it's not working, if you've tried all sorts of different stuff, vitamins or supplements or medication, if you find it hasn't worked, don't be put off, because I know they don't work. Okay, so I kind of go into why they don't work. Meditation tracks aren't designed for sleeping. They have elements in them that potentially wake your brain up and keep you in the same state as when you can't sleep, so when you're thinking too much. So I go into why that happens, and why they don't sleep. So I have my own track, which you may have noticed, and if you haven't, you can check it out if you're not sleeping, and it's called Making Mashed Potatoes. And I've designed it based on activating the, I guess, the part of the mind that is active while you're sleeping. So have a go at that. Hopefully you'll be able to sleep, and then in my book I explain what the mechanics are behind it. Then I talk about broken sleep and how to break that cycle, sleeping in the mornings. And then moving away from the sleep issues, I talk about pregnancy terminations, which is a big one for sort of emotional health. So that's a big one. That's for anyone that, feels like they want to read it. I do recommend reading it. It's designed to bring you sort of peace. Also, anyone that can't sleep and does have anxiety, you need to go outside and take your shoes off and stand on the ground for like at least 10 minutes. So that actually has a big impact on you and can help more than you think. Okay, so that's really important. Take your shoes off and go outside. Then there's a chapter I've got which is called We Are Being Squeezed. Now that's that I wrote that sort of quite a while ago, but it's very current or very relevant to current times with what we're going through with the whole global lockdown situation. So if you want to understand what's going on, that chapter would definitely help. So even though I don't mention it, because obviously I wrote it before the current situation, it'll help you to understand it, and it's kind of the ultimate squeeze. Right, and then suicide is just kind of the last 3 or 4 chapters where I talk about a few different examples, what people have gotten during their session that has helped them, which might help you. And yeah, so I go into that. So the book isn't focused on suicide. It's I do talk about it in the last section of the book, but there's a lot of helpful stuff that hopefully if you've got any issues you'll find really helpful. So yeah, that's available. It's also available in ebook. I'll have the link for that. I do hope to do an audio book, but with me writing book 2 now, I'm not sort of sure how that will go. And I do want to, I'll probably do that soon. I want to upload a sleep track designed for children and nightmares to help them not have them, or to have control when they have something unpleasant in a dream. So look out for that. And please feel free to email or contact me with anything. I think I'm still allowed to see clients as long as we social distance, but I'm happy to kind of work through that, and hopefully this will start kind of a journey to help it. So as a practitioner who has seen a lot of people that have wanted to self-harm, I wholeheartedly believe that everything I know is in here. Everything that I would want someone to know is in here. And there's nothing that I would want to add to it. So yeah, I hope it's a sort of complete guide to help people. And I know the title is kind of strong and confronting, but I wanted it to be. Okay, so I think that's kind of all I wanted to cover. So yeah, stay safe. We'll get through this time, and enjoy. Thank you.